So, where does your passion for music come? When did you start getting involved in music?
I don't you know what? I really don't remember not loving music. I have a picture of me hitting, like, reaching up, beating on my brother's snare drum, and it would have been my brother's snare drum when he was in sixth grade. And so it would have been waist high to a sixth grader, and I was having to reach up over the top of it to beat on it. And I mean, I never remember, like, people not telling me to stop beating on that. You know what I mean? Because I was originally our drummer before I ever sang or anything. And I always love making noise, I guess.
Very cool. Who would you say would be your music or artist inspiration?
Um, a little bit of a lot of people. A little bit of a lot of people. I mean, I can't really say one person, but I don't know. Just growing up, and I guess my brothers and sisters kind of inspired me. And I had one sister, Allison, that she sang. I mean, she always was. I'm the youngest of seven kids, and all of my brothers and sisters are pretty
Oh,
outgoing. And
hmm.
but I have Allison. She was always a little more like outgoing and outspoken, and always singing around the house and stuff. So, and everybody in my family is kind of loud, and so it was never like you never had to be bashful. Nobody's gonna laugh at you or pick on you about singing or anything around. And so
Yeah.
those are the things that inspired me to always, like, because I think that is what maybe sometimes more than inspires a person is the person that actually convinces them to, like, come out of the shell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my brothers and sisters were all pretty good about, like, never making me build a shell.
hmm That's good. Is there any kind of future albums in the works for you guys or any planning, working on songs right now?
I think that after we get done with this tour, we'll probably start working on some songs, and maybe not a whole record at once, but just maybe like three or four songs at a time to put out and
Yeah.
just release them as like little mini packs. And
Oh,
because
very
it's
cool.
it's more about getting out now and getting on the playlist and stuff like that on the streams and things like that to be heard anyway, more than
Yeah.
more than record sales. So I think that we'll just do it more like that and allow you to put out more music and kind of more frequently.
So, what kind of challenges has the band faced over the year? What are kind of some really good moments you've had, some challenges you guys have had to face?
Oh man, we've been one of those like behind the music ones. We've had some challenges. I mean,
Yeah.
we've had some incredibly high points, and the high points being that I got to start this band with two guys that I grew up with, and that I don't ever remember not knowing. Todd was
hmm
Todd was went out with my sister when he was in high school, and I was just like a little brother. And Matt, I played t-ball together with him, so we started this band together, and the things we got to achieve together were, and then Chris joined the band, a couple of years before we got signed. But the things we got to all achieve together were, I mean, amazing. And the things we got to see and do, and the gifts just given to us, of being able to do all that. At the same time, I mean, we've all faced our demons. Those two, I mean, Matt faced his until eventually it caught up with him and he passed away. And um, Todd, he let things get a hold of him too. And he wound up, I don't know if he's out of jail or in jail or what. I hadn't talked to him in several years. But um,
Yeah.
and I can't sit here and say that I couldn't have wound up in either one of their positions. It's by the grace of God that I'm sitting here talking to you rather than one
Yeah.
of those places. But
Yeah.
I got sober 5 years ago, and it's the best
Oh,
thing I ever did.
congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And to me, that's another high point of,
Yeah.
and you know what? I'll tell you what, since that, there have been way more high points than there have been low points. And before that,
Good.
I mean,
Good.
you had your celebration moments, but it's almost like you're jumping up out of the mire to slap some light every now and then when you're like that. And we had great times in the early years, but we we faced a lot of challenges, But you know what? Looking back on them, those challenges, we've done it to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't other people challenges. It was us challenging ourselves to see how stupid we could be, I think, sometimes. Um, but we have so much more fun now, you know, and I always say that God's got you right where he wants you, and he'll take care of you. Trust him. And I trust him, and he takes care of us, and he always has. And you know, I mean, we've got to do some amazing things over the years, and it'd be too many to count. And I mean, but hopefully we just get to keep doing that and keep on going. But and it's just not me that's just sober now, like our whole band is. So it's not like you have to
Oh,
worry about
good.
somebody like a random explosion phone call
Mm-hmm.
that you get at like 2 a.m. anymore. And that's so nice to not have to worry about that.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to you and the whole band on that.
Thank you. Thank you very
That's
much.
I've had that in my family, and I know it's quite the challenge. So honestly, congratulations.
Thank you very, very much.
Yeah. What would you say one of the best or one of your favorite performances of your career have you had? I know you talked about your love for performing in Ohio.
Um, I think I don't know. We've got to play some really cool places. We got to play, getting to play on the deck of the USS George Washington was definitely one of the coolest ones, and that was off
Oh,
the coast of Portugal, and it was on a military tour. And getting to play on the deck of an aircraft carrier was pretty
mm-hmm,
amazing, and just the setting made it amazing. But what also made it amazing was that like on that ship was almost 6,000 sailors, and the average age of them, the captain said when they left port was 19, and by the time they got back to port, their average age would be 20 because enough people would have birthdays while they were out to sea. And
oh,
but so these sailors hadn't seen the land in I think 3 months, and they were going
mm-hmm,
back out to port after a 4 day break and or a 3 day break, and they were going back out to sea rather, and like 50%, 60% of the boat stayed on the boat and didn't go to land for their 3 day leave and would not see land again for 3 months to stay and watch us play that concert. And that was really, really cool. And
yeah.
that was probably one of the coolest performances that we've ever got to be a part of.
What are kind of your ties to the military since you've talked quite a bit about going overseas and playing for them? So I guess what kind of got you interested in doing that?
Well, my dad was in the Air Force. My brother was in the Air Force. And Chris, our guitar player, he was in the Navy for, I think, 8 years or 9 years. And before the band. And, you know, and plus we just always really honored to perform for those guys. And I mean, you know, they stick their necks out for us all the time. And it's our way of saying thank you. And for me not having served, it's my way of serving them in a way, you know?
Very nice. I have one last question. It's kind of fun. If you could choose any artist to collaborate with, or a person or a band, who would you choose?
Dead or alive.
Yeah.
It would have been pretty cool to sit down and write a song with like Freddie Mercury. It'd been pretty cool.
Oh, him and I
Can you
actually share a
imagine?
birthday.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
He's just, and not, you know, not just because of the movie. I've always admired that dude, and
mhm.
always kind of made the joke. It's like you got to be a badass performer to play with half a mic stand, you know. and
Yes.
but he's just a creative guy. And but one thing that that movie, you know, did kind of shine a light on. I didn't realize that it wasn't just him. It was all
Mhm.
those guys. It's amazing how many of those songs just came from a completely different person in the band. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
all our songs don't come about the same way, but I write all the lyrics and they write all the guitar parts and, you know, so on and so forth. And but those guys, they would just come in with like a whole song and be like, I wrote this. And, you know,
Mhm.
and it would be like freaking really good to have
Yeah.
that many incredibly talented songwriters in one band. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Well, unless there was anything else you wanted to add about tour, anything, or else that's all I
I've,
had.
we're just looking forward to being back out there for the rest of the summer on into fall and
Yeah.
see if something doesn't get tacked on